Ever have one of those days where, I don't know, things just seem strangely connected, like almost too coincidental?
You find a $20 bill on the sidewalk and then bam, you win 20 bucks on a scratch off later that day.
Exactly. Or like you're thinking about an old friend and then boom, they call you out of the
Yeah.
blue. It's like, is the universe messing with me? Or is there something more going on here?
Well, that's what we're diving into today. A book that claims you might actually be the one pulling the strings, at least when it comes to coincidence.
Okay, now you've got my attention. What's this book all about?
It's called Quantitative Magnetism, and it's a bit of an indie darling. Basically, it suggests we're all capable of attracting not just a few lucky breaks here and there, but a downright deluge of coincidences.
Wait, hold on. Not just like finding a parking spot when you need it. We're talking full on, how is this even possible? Kind of coincidences.
Precisely. The author claims that the more you tap into what they call quantitative magnetism, the more you draw in these seemingly impossible synchronicities.
Quantitative magnetism. It's got a ring to it, I'll give it that. But this idea of hidden human potential isn't exactly new, right?
Oh, you're absolutely right. This concept has been around for centuries, really. I mean, just look at the whole power of positive thinking phenomenon.
Sure.
In fact, the book even mentions Napoleon Hill's classic Think and Grow Rich.
Ah, classic.
Right, published way back in 1938, but that message, it still resonates. Our thoughts can shape our reality.
So is quantitative magnetism taking that idea even further?
That's the gist, yeah. It's not just about thinking your way to success, but about like tapping into some kind of force that influences the very fabric of coincidence itself.
Okay, now I'm really curious. How do they explain this whole magnetism thing? Are there like real world examples they use?
Well, one comparison they make is to the allure of celebrities. Why are some people just so effortlessly captivating? Is it purely talent? Or could there be something more, some kind of magnetism that draws us in?
That's interesting. Because it's true, some people just have that certain something, that it factor.
Yeah.
The book's saying anyone can cultivate this magnetism.
That seems to be the implication, yeah. Think about charisma, for example. It's not necessarily innate. There are techniques, practices that can make someone more engaging, more influential. And the book suggests quantitative magnetism works similarly.
So instead of just being funnier, you're like magnetically funnier. I kind of like it. But what about other fields? Can this magnetism really supercharge any skill, any profession, like the book claims?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. The book emphasizes that this isn't about changing who you are, but enhancing it.
So like a really good chef becomes,
A culinary rock star. Their food doesn't just taste amazing, it's a full-blown sensory experience.
okay, now that's an image. Or like a public speaker.
Suddenly, they're commanding attention, holding the room captive with their every word.
And don't even get me started on politicians.
Right.
Imagine the campaign speeches.
But seriously, though, this whole idea of magnetism, does it kind of make you rethink what we call natural talent?
Absolutely. Like, what if some of what we attribute to pure ability is actually this magnetism at play? I mean, we've all met those people who just seem to breeze through life, effortlessly attracting success. Maybe they're onto something.
It definitely makes you wonder, but the real question is, can we actually tap into this quantitative magnetism? Does the book offer any techniques?
Yeah, because it's one thing to say it exists, it's another to actually, like, cultivate it. So what's the secret formula?
Well, the book suggests a surprisingly simple practice, journaling.
Journaling. Okay. Not exactly what I was expecting.
But it's not just any journaling. The key is to specifically focus on tracking and analyzing the coincidences in your life.
Interesting. So instead of just letting those moments pass by, you're actively paying attention, trying to find patterns.
Exactly. The book argues that this heightened awareness, it's the first step to understanding and ultimately influencing your own quantitative magnetism.
So it's like the more you notice those synchronicities, the more you're open to experiencing them.
Right. It's like tuning your perception, becoming more attuned to the subtle connections that surround us all the time.
So by journaling about these coincidences, we're kind of sending a signal to the universe like, hey, we're paying attention. Bring on the synchronicities.
Exactly. And the more we pay attention, the book suggests, the more we might start to see the results.
Okay, I'm game. But let's say, just for a moment, that this is all true. What happens when we all start cranking up our quantitative magnetism?
You're thinking global magnetic overload.
Well, yeah. Is that a good thing?
Yeah.
Like, could there be unintended consequences? I mean, it's kind of a mind-blowing idea, right? Having that much influence over our lives.
It's both exciting and a little daunting at the same time.
Exactly. Like, what if we're not ready for that kind of responsibility? What if we accidentally unleash a tidal wave of coincidences?
Well, that's the thing about exploring these unconventional ideas. It forces us to confront these bigger questions, to consider the implications, both positive and potentially challenging.
It's like, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. And then what?
Exactly. But even if this book doesn't have all the answers, even if we don't subscribe to every single theory, it does make you think, doesn't it?
It really does. And who knows, maybe by simply asking these questions, by being open to these possibilities, we're already tapping into something bigger than ourselves.
Perhaps. But ultimately, whether it's quantitative magnetism or simply the power of our own perception, the universe is full of mystery.
And maybe that's the point. To embrace the unknown, to keep exploring, to keep searching for those connections, those synchronicities that remind us we're all part of something much greater than ourselves.
Well said. And on that note, I think we'll leave our listeners with a final thought to ponder. What if the greatest coincidence of all is simply being alive, right here, right now, in this vast and interconnected web of existence?
I like that. And who knows what other mysteries and coincidences await us just around the corner. Until next time, keep those journals handy and keep exploring the fascinating world around you.